Besides controlling the overall dynamics of a musical performance, compression can be also used more as an effect to alter the envelope or the shape of individual notes. If you notice the waveforms on screen, these are some drum hits. There's two sections to this wave. There's a transient at the beginning, sharp impact sound of the stick hitting the drum, and then there's the body of the note, the ring or decay or release of the note. You can use compressors to alter the balance between these two components of the sound to either make the note seem to be shorter and more choked, or make the note sound like it's ringing out with a much fuller release. And this is done with the attack and release controls. Now I've set up an example here. I've recorded the original drum sound, a version compressed with a slow attack and slow release, followed by a version compressed with a fast attack and fast release. I've left all the other settings the same, and those settings really are based on the specific recording. Slow attack in this case would mean an attack time of about 10 to 20 milliseconds, which is enough time to allow the transient to pass through the compressor without being compressed, and then let the compressor only kick in on the decaying portion of the note. You can see an example of what that effect would look like in the blue wave. Notice in the original green wave, the size of the transient attack and the size of the decay and release portion. In the compressed wave, you notice the attack transient remains, but the ring of the note is much reduced. Here's the difference in sound quality. Again, the original, and compressed with a slow attack and release. So the initial stick hit is the same, but the drum sounds like you put some tape on it and dampen it down and shorten the ring of the note. Now the opposite effect could be achieved by using a fast attack and fast release. In this case, fast attack would mean about half a millisecond up to maybe a couple of milliseconds. I said about 1 millisecond there. Fast release would be somewhere between maybe 50 and 100 milliseconds or so, again depending on the sound. The idea of this is it's going to clamp down on the transient and reduce the level of that stick impact, but then it's going to stop compressing after only about 80 milliseconds in my example, allowing the ring of the note to come back up, sounding like you took tape off the drum and tuned the drum to a more open setting. And once again, I'll give you an example of that. Here's the original sound and the compressed version, the third waveform in red. Now I'd already pre-recorded these examples, so I'm just going to loop through the variations a couple of times to let you hear once again the original drum sound, the slow attack, slow release version where you've dampened down the drum, and the fast attack, fast release version where you've clamped down on the transient and emphasized the ring of the drum. Here's an example of this use of compression on a full drum kit. I'll play a little bit of the kit looping without any processing first. As you can see, I've set up 2 compressors on the kick and 2 compressors on the snare. The top kick compressor, which is the upper left, and the top snare compressor on the upper right have been set for slow attack and slow release in order to emphasize the impact, the transient of each drum, shorten the drums by choking down on the decay. And you can see the settings that were used there for each one. The bottom row, the lower left kick compressor and the lower right snare compressor were set up with a fast attack and faster release in order to clamp down on the transient and allow the drums to ring out, extending the release of the drums and making it more prominent. I'll play through the kit a little bit, and as it loops, I'll kick in the kick and snare compressors first to damp down the drums, the top 2, and then later I'll switch to the 2 compressors that are accentuating the ring of the drum, the bottom 2. So the next time around, here will be the first top 2 compressors. Back to the original unprocessed drum sound. And here are the bottom 2 compressors.